Right, in today's video I'm going to talk about your arm swing again, but this time around I'm going to talk about what happens after you've reached maximum speed. In the previous video I was talking about your arm swing majorly from that point where you start to the point where you reach maximum speed. You remember we talked about the 2-second rule. So the first 2 seconds you're getting out there trying to get fast. Next 2 seconds or 4 seconds you're still trying to move fast. But then about 6 seconds you reach your top speed. Now that movement really, the range of motion doesn't change throughout the race. You're up there and going all the way back. But what does change in that movement, in order for you to maintain the top speed you have achieved, is how much force you are exerting on those arms. Right, let's see. At the start, your arms are going to be moving like that. You're trying to pump them back so that you get your legs going. But when you reach maximum speed, your arms should stop pumping because you don't need to apply as much force as you did when you started. Now I'll give you an example. If you have a car and you're pushing a car down a slope, at the beginning you need to exert a lot of force because that car is not moving, right? It's you, the body, who's applying a lot of force onto the car, which is the second object, right? But once that car gains some speed on a slope, if you keep applying a lot of force, what's going to happen is you're going to fall down. What you need to do is reduce the force you're applying onto it and try to increase your speed so that you can keep with the car that's going. If you can't keep that speed with the car will go and you'll fall down. The same thing with you as an athlete. At the beginning, you want to look at your body in two parts. You look at the legs as the car that's going and the upper body as the arms. The upper body is your arms, and that's you who's applying force on the car. Now once you start, you're going to use those arms really powerfully to get those legs going. So that will help those legs gain speed. At around 6 seconds, the legs are flying. You know, they've gained a lot of speed. If you keep pushing, like you're pushing that car and it's gaining speed, you're going to fall down. What you want to do is reduce the amount of force you're applying onto those arms so that you can keep with the speed of the legs. Say, I'll give you an example. Now, if you're applying force in the first 6 seconds in order for you to gain some speed, your arms are going to be moving like that. And let's assume that takes 4 microseconds from here all the way up to here. Oh, it's okay for the first 6 seconds because the legs are also moving at that speed. But once you reach maximum speed, the legs are moving a lot faster than those 4 microseconds. So let's assume the legs at that point are beginning to use only 2 microseconds going up and down, as opposed to the 4 microseconds at the beginning before they gain speed. So what you need to do is make sure your arms increase their speed to 2 microseconds as well, so that they can match the speed of the legs. If that fails, you're going to lose coordination. The legs are going to begin moving faster than the arms. Now there's only one way to be able to achieve that, is by reducing the amount of force you're applying on these arms. Obviously, this, which is forceful, is a lot slower than this. So what you do is relax your shoulders, relax your body, and just swing the arms. Just swing them, stop applying force. Because when you swing them, they will move fast enough to match the speed of the legs. I'll tell you what happens if you continue applying force like that. So when you continue applying force, like I said, the legs are taking 2 microseconds to complete the cycle, but your arms, because you're applying force, are taking 4 microseconds. There's an imbalance. They're getting slower than the legs. What the body does then is it tries to avoid you from crashing down into the ground by trying to match the speed of the arms with the legs. Of course, the body is smart enough to know, that's your brain is smart enough to know that all the way back here takes 4 microseconds. So you say, all right, if the legs are taking 2 microseconds, I'll just reduce the range of motion. Well, from here up to here will only take 2 microseconds, which is the same as the legs. So you ultimately start running like that. The only reason you're running like that is because your brain has sent a message to your muscles to reduce this range of motion, so that this takes 2 microseconds, matches with the 2 microseconds of the legs. But obviously, once that happens, all the disadvantages I talked about in the previous video, as far as not completing your arm cycle is concerned, start creeping in. Because you're not completing your arm cycle, you apply less force on the ground, all the disadvantages I talked about in the previous video come in, and then you start slowing down. So What you want to do? You want to relax those arms. You get to top speed and just swing them. You don't need to apply force anymore because tension will arise. That's the brain's way of trying to stop the range of motion. I've already said to you, when you get to 60 meters, relax. Stop pumping your arms. Just swing them, stop pumping them. But maybe you should look at not pumping them more, because once you pump them, that's where the tension begins. Because the body's way of reducing your range of motion is by creating tension in these muscles. So the brain sends a message to get tension in these muscles so that your range of motion reduces. Now, if you have your arms relaxed and they're matching the speed of the legs, the brain has no business sending a message to cause the tension. So you want to concentrate more on not pumping hard. Once you concentrate on that and you don't pump hard, then the relaxation will come. There's no way you can relax if you continue pumping hard. If you're going to think about relaxation as, I want to relax my upper body, and then continue pumping hard, that's not going to happen. Because the body will automatically fight against that by creating tension. Now, that's the only way you can keep your maximum speed. Well, of course, at some point you begin to decelerate, but that's the technique you would need to use to keep part of your top speed you've already developed. But in the next video, I'm going to talk about the strategy of running the 200 and the 400, plus the exercises, the drills we're going to do to try and learn how to run with the relaxed upper body after generating speed. Basically, you want to look at the arm technique there as a technique to maintain maximum speed.